It is Friday morning, May 12th, 2017. Doctors, nurses, and staff walked into the hospitals only to discover their computers were locked with a chilling message on the screen. Your files have been encrypted. The hackers demanded a $300 and $600 ransom in Bitcoin. Otherwise, the files would be lost forever. Fear gripped everyone, especially because the malware was spreading like wildfire. Ambulances were turned away, and emergency care patients had nowhere to go. It wasn't just the hospitals affected. Petrol stations, factories, and companies were all under siege. Nearly 230,000 computers across the world were brought to a standstill. Just as things seemed hopeless, an unlikely hero emerged. A 22-year-old cybersecurity researcher made a brilliant move and halted the attack. Although considered a hero, he had a dark secret that only the FBI would uncover. WannaCry malware was a disaster. This wasn't an ordinary virus. It was a ransomware crypto worm targeted at computers running the Microsoft Windows operating system. Once WannaCry was in your computer, it locked up all the data until it became unusable. It starts by looking out for your kill switch domain. Think of this switch as a lifeline that stops an attack if things go out of hand. But once this lifeline isn't there, WannaCry would lock up all the data on the computer. To make things worse, victims were greeted with a chilling message that their files had been encrypted and that there was only one way to get them back. WannaCry demanded a ransom of $300 in Bitcoin. And if victims didn't act immediately, it would double to $600 within 7 days. This malware went by many names: WannaCrypt, WCry, WannaDecryptor 2.0, you name it. Even more terrifying was how it spread. The attack was powered by Eternal Blue, a tool originally discovered by the United States National Security Agency. Eternal Blue targeted a flaw in the older version of Windows. This was stolen by a mysterious hacker group called the Shadow Brokers and leaked online just a few months before the attack. While Microsoft quickly released a patch to fix this, many organizations didn't update their systems in time. This allowed WannaCry to strike. Once a system was infected, WannaCry didn't only lock users out. It secretly installed a secret backdoor called Double Pulsar, allowing it to dig deeper into the system. From there, it spread independently and jumped from one computer to another like a predator hunting prey. Unlike other known ransomware, it tricked people into clicking bad links or downloading infected files. And worst of all, it needed no help from its victims. WannaCry was a self-propagating worm and a digital monster on the loose. In just a few days, WannaCry had infected over 200,000 computers across 150 countries, causing damage running into billions of dollars. Banks, hospitals, and businesses were paralyzed, and their data was held hostage by a faceless enemy. The National Health Service, NHS, felt the most devastating impact. The NHS had up to 70,000 of its surgical equipment, MRI scanners, computers, and blood storage refrigerators affected by the attack. Major companies and corporations like FedEx, Nissan, Telefonica, Hitachi, and Renault were also hit hard. Amid the disaster, a 22-year-old hacker emerged from nowhere with the power to end the chaos. No one knew him, but he was about to save millions of people from a digital nightmare. Who is this mysterious man, and what was his motive? This young man grew up in rural Devon, England. His family moved in when he was only 9, leaving behind the bustling streets of Bracknell. His mother, Janet, was a nurse, and his dad was a social worker. Life in Devon was quiet and surrounded by nature. But there's one more thing he loved most about the city computers. From a young age, he developed a knack for technology. While other kids played outside, he was glued to his computer screen and coding. From there, he started to learn hacking for fun. He got so good that he learned to bypass security systems to install video games on computers. This teenager tested his skills on various computer tricks until he mastered them. One time, his school's system was compromised, and the authorities claimed he was guilty. He was permanently suspended from using computers at school, forcing him to spend more time in malware forums. By age 14, he already had a password stealer based on Internet Explorer's autofill feature. His little invention was praised by everyone who used it. Fast forward to a few years later, when he turned 22 and worked at a cybersecurity firm in the UK. Marcus Hutchins renamed himself MalwareTech online. While exploring the internet one day, he encountered something that changed his life forever. It was a ransomware called WannaCry. This ransomware was spreading fast and locking people out of their computers. The attack was not a US thing but a global threat. It hit everything from personal computers to hospital systems. As he examined the WannaCry code, he noticed an odd domain name hidden within the code. At first it doesn't make sense to him, but it strikes a chord. He realized that the domain was a kill switch, and if he registered it, he could stop the ransomware from spreading. Of course it was a risky move, but he didn't hesitate. He quickly registered the domain, and boom! The attack stopped. He just ended a global cyber attack. Hutchins immediately informed the NHS, which had been hit hard. He also shared useful information on how victims would prevent ransomware from spreading further. Marcus Hutchins was a hero, but then being a hero came with challenges. He was a researcher, not a law enforcement officer. He took a huge risk by registering a domain, knowing he could face legal trouble. But then, this man believed stopping WannaCry was more important than the risk. His decision was perfect. As he settled into his newfound fame, life took a shocking twist. 3 months after stopping WannaCry, he attended a cybersecurity conference in Las Vegas to connect with other experts. While in the city, he was arrested for harboring a dark secret. The arrest shook the cybersecurity community, with many believing he was unfairly targeted. One quiet evening, Marcus Hutchins walked out of the door of his Airbnb mansion in Las Vegas. He went to pick up his order of a Big Mac and fries from an Uber Eats courier. But as he stood on the driveway, he saw some men wearing t-shirts and jeans. He noticed a black SUV parked on the street, resembling the FBI's car. Hutchins dismissed the feeling that the FBI was following him and returned to his room to prepare for the airport. Upon arrival at Las Vegas Airport, the FBI arrested him. Why would they arrest someone who single-handedly averted the WannaCry malware outbreak? Did they mistake him for someone else? Turns out that he was arrested for his role in creating and distributing the Kronos banking Trojan. Kronos was first spotted in 2014 when IBM found the attack toolkit for sale on Russian underground forums. At just 19, Hutchins sat in his room with a friend, coding their time away. The result was Kronos, a powerful malware designed to steal banking credentials. He took this creation to all parts of the internet, even to the deep web, where he sold it to cybercriminals on Alphabay. These criminals unleashed Kronos on their victims. In late 2016, thousands of emails were sent across the UK and North America. They claimed to be from Microsoft SharePoint, but clicking them triggered a deadly chain reaction. Once a victim opened the email attachment, Kronos slipped into their system and stole passwords and banking details. It didn't stop there. This malware was smart enough to download more dangerous tools like ScanPOS and SmokeLoader, designed to swipe credit card numbers from your computer's memory. Even though Kronos had been in action since 2014, its greatest boom was in 2015 when it infiltrated the code of several banks in the UK and India. After a few years of silence, Osiris took over Kronos' deadly legacy. This time, it was on a new level. For instance, it silently infects local devices and then spreads across the network to infect other computers. It was smart enough to sneak into CRM support systems, crossing organizational boundaries easily. An infected user in one organization can email a CRM system. The system automatically opens it without knowing and attaches a dangerous file to a ticket. A customer support engineer just doing their job opens the ticket, clicks the Excel file, and boom, the entire network is infected. But here's how the FBI closed in on the culprit. It all started when the FBI got a copy of Hutchins's conversations with Randy. He and Randy had lengthy discussions about Kronos. These deep secrets were hidden on a dark web server that had been seized long before Alphabay. The FBI had been secretly piecing the facts together, and now they were ready to act. On August 2, 2017, Hutchins was in Las Vegas Airport waiting to fly to the UK when federal agents surrounded him. After introducing themselves, they slapped handcuffs on his wrists and took him into custody. Luckily, he called Kryptos Logic and Nano to explain his situation. When word got out that he had been arrested, he received support from the cybersecurity world. Hackers and cybersecurity workers from all corners raised money for his bail. But here's the shocking twist. Some of the donations included stolen credit cards and shady Bitcoin transactions. This made the FBI's suspicions grow even stronger. It only meant that this suspect was more deeply involved in the dark web than they thought. Well, the U.S. Department of Justice released an official statement announcing his arrest and revealing that a grand jury in Wisconsin slammed a 6-count indictment against him. He's outrightly accused of creating and distributing Kronos, the same notorious malware that stole banking credentials from people worldwide. What Hutchins didn't know was that the FBI cyber squad in Milwaukee had been on his trail. They investigated everything from his online activities to the phishing campaigns that spread Kronos through malicious emails. Even Hutchins' family were in shock at the news of his arrest. His mother, Janet Hutchins, told BBC that it was unlikely that he would be guilty of these charges. She insisted that her son devoted his time to fighting malware, not creating it. Eventually, Marcus Hutchins stood in court for his arraignment. He pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, but this wasn't a straightforward denial. He entered a bargaining chip with the FBI to negotiate a deal, rather than outrightly deny his involvement with Kronos. But in his hacker community, he insisted that he was innocent. Hutchins was placed under house arrest in Los Angeles, trapped by a strict curfew and monitored by GPS. In early 2018, the FBI approached him with another deal. They promised to reduce his sentence and even let him walk free if he told them all he knew about Vinny and other hackers. Unfortunately, he didn't have so much information about Vinny and wasn't willing to betray other hackers. When he refused the FBI's request, he was slapped with additional charges in June 2018. By April 19, 2019, Hutchins pleaded guilty to 2 of the 10 charges against him. That is, conspiracy to commit wire fraud and distribute a device that intercepts electronic communications. Judge Joseph Peter Stadtmuller handed down his sentence. He would have been sentenced to 5 years with a $250,000 fine. But this judge sentenced him to time served and 1 year of supervised release. Thanks for watching Infamous. If you're fascinated by the dark tales of history's most notorious criminals, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more mini documentaries. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a story. Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your take on today's infamous figure. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.